Not guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
Something amazing is happening here. The next era of AI has arrived. CDW data engineers are helping organizations harness the power of AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. The power to run workloads faster means greater productivity, giving your business a better shot at success. Intel and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Intel-client.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know: Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store, for over 25 years, helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are post-game thoughts from head coach Nate Oates following Alabama men's basketball's win on Tuesday against Mississippi State.
A little bit better start than what we'd had. I think it's the first time we've led it the first media timeout since Arkansas. So we've been stressing to have a little bit better sense of urgency to start the games. I thought LeBaron's sense of urgency to get stops on Hubbard was really good. That's what we need out of LeBaron every night. I thought he played great. You know, he ended up with 10 and 5 with only 2 turnovers. But I thought, it's one of those deals where when you just get really locked into the right stuff and lose yourself in the game, the offense comes a lot easier. You know, he shot 2 of 5 from 3, contributed to 22 threes we made.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for The Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. The Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you go. We're back. We're live. As always, we're brand new. Well, not always, but we're brand new today. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Thursday morning. A Thursday morning that sees us congratulate some college basketball squads for doing what they do and what they have been doing all season long. And we start just right up the road over in Florence last night. For the first time in school history, North Alabama is the ASUN Conference regular season co-champions. That's right. They got a win last night over Queens, 74-69. So UNA does share the ASUN Conference regular season title with Lipscomb, who knocked off Central Arkansas last night in Nashville. Jakari Lane closed out the regular season, 20 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals, making one last push for ASUN Player of the Year. Tay Fields, 18 points, 9 rebounds for North Alabama. Now, here is the tough part. Because Lipscomb got by Central Arkansas, Lipscomb owns several of the tiebreakers within the ASUN Conference. So Lipscomb will be your number 1 seed, and it's the first time for head coach Lenny Acuff. Lipscomb has had the number 1 seed before, but this is the first time under head coach Lenny Acuff that the Lipscomb Bisons are the number 1 seed in the ASUN Conference. So they will get the right to host the ASUN tournament in Nashville. But it does not take away from what Tony Pujols has built in Florence. After the game last night, he talked to our news partners, Fox 54. Here's what he had to say.
The enormous amount of pride that I have for the players of this team and our staff. I'm very thankful to be a part of this unit. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the past, right? You got Coach Elliott, Coach Jones, winning national championships here during the D2 years. Those are the shoulders that we're standing on. But now these guys are continuing to build the foundation for this program. The amount of pride that I have for these guys right now and the amount of gratitude that I have for the effort that they put out tonight, man, it's pretty cool. Same way I tell the guys to live in the moment, man, I want them to live and enjoy the heck out of this, okay? Knowing that it's not the end, right? But they got to enjoy this moment because this is a lot. It's been a lot of years. This is a long time coming, right? So I want them to just enjoy this moment as like no other day, right? And then we'll get to the next game. Heck, we don't even know who we're playing, right? So I'm not even thinking about that right now. I mean, this is a vision that, forget about what we thought about 7 years ago. Go back to President Kitts, who's been here for over a decade, and his mind about what this place can become. The reason why this is happening is because of that man's vision. Then he brings along somebody like Dr. Josh Looney, who has done it in so many different levels. And now all of a sudden you're seeing this football field being put up. And then the quality of people that he's bringing in. You know, our baseball coach, you're watching. I mean, they took Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country, to the brink, right? Our football team beating Abilene Christian, the champion. Like, it's all a matter of time, guys. This is right now, the trajectory of this university is going through the roof between enrollment, athletics, community, the whole deal. It's going through the roof. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
That was North Alabama head coach Tony Pujols after the Lions win last night over Queens, a win that gives them a share of the ASUN regular season title for the first time in school history. Now, shortly after that game and shortly after the Lipscomb Central Arkansas game, the brackets for the ASUN were released because now we know everything. So Lipscomb is your number 1 seed. North Alabama, they could have fallen as low as 3 last night because of all the tiebreakers, but everything played out like it should. They are the number 2 seed. They will await the winner of Austin Peay in North Florida. Lipscomb will await the winner of Stetson and Central Arkansas, who will play on the floor of Lipscomb coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, that's what John Shulman was telling us yesterday. And they lost 78-60. You and Steve did a great job. So if they lost that game, they were just going to have to stay in town and end up playing on the floor of Lipscomb, and could potentially play Lipscomb again if they pull what would be considered an upset. But again, we'll
10-9. Now we did learn, and I learned this yesterday.
Okay.
Now, Coach Acuff told us this yesterday.
All right.
That Stetson had all 5 of their guys after last year go in the portal.
Oof.
All 5 of their all of their starting 5 went in the portal last year.
Yeah.
This is a brand new team. They lost every one of their players. They would have been, Coach Acuff said, they would have been the runaway winners in the A-Sun this year had they stayed.
Favorites.
Yes, would have been the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they lost their entire starting 5 because of the portal. And that was a conversation. When we talked to John Schulman yesterday in Nashville and we talked to Lenny Acuff, that was the concern with all of those coaches, with both of those coaches, was that if they have guys that go out there, freshmen, sophomores, whatever,
and are
outstanding, they are so scared that they are going to lose their players to the portal or somewhere because they just can't afford them.
Well, I mean, John Schulman kind of referenced it yesterday when he was talking about his young big man. Who before all the injuries, and Coach Schulman basically lost almost an entire starting 5 to injury. He was having to play this kid, and he'd had a couple of good games, and then he's having people tell him, hey, you better watch out, for the transfer portal. So
I don't know if he's not awake. So I'm going to say this. He told me yesterday.
Okay.
He told Steve and I yesterday that he met, because I asked him, I said, how much does Scottie Pippen have to do with the program?
Oh, with Central. Yeah, of course.
And he said Scottie doesn't have any money, but he said Scottie doesn't care if I go and say, look, Central Arkansas is recruiting you, home of Scottie Pippen.
Right.
Loves that. He says, I don't want money. He goes, I called Scottie and said, I don't want money from you. He goes, because that's what everybody's asking. He said, but he did meet with some boosters there in Conway.
Right.
And they told him they were trying to get him $300,000 to $350,000 of NIL money. And he said he's got guys that are playing now that would probably never be playing that are going to want money.
Right.
Because they're now playing and they are getting exposed. People are seeing them play. They want money. He goes, so now I got to make the decision. He goes, I don't have a lot of money.
Right.
He goes, but now I got to make the decision on how much to give. And he goes, I can tell you right now. And he pointed to a couple of players. And he goes, I can already tell you they're going to get offered by Arkansas. They're going to get offered by School B to get $200,000 to $300,000 to go sit on the bench and be the 8th, 9th, or 10th option. He goes, I can't afford that. And I tell you what, it really sunk in on these mid-majors, on where we are on college athletics. In 24 hours, it really sunk in, hearing it from 2 coaches that this is a bad system right now.
Well, that's what Greg Byrne has been telling us about revenue sharing and getting the salary caps and everything else, so they can have some sort of guardrails on what they're doing and have a certain amount you can spend on your roster, because when you're paying $200,000 to somebody that's your 8th or 9th guy, and you don't think he's going to play very much on that set squad, and yet he could be playing a ton at Central Arkansas
or anywhere else.
But again, those programs have caps on what they can pay.
Right.
I mean, we even had a prominent member of the UAH program that could have moved on to mid-major Division I basketball last year, and he decided to stay. I mean, but again, that's one of those things. And think about what Coach Schulman said yesterday. He basically had to leave because of the offer on the table.
Right.
But, Chaney Johnson wanted to stay. But, I mean, he had a major opportunity, and now he's playing a big-time role as a 6th man, basically, for the number 1 team in the country. And UAH just they couldn't compete with, what the Auburn Tigers can offer in NIL money.
It makes what Tony Pujols and Lenny Acuff, to that point, have done this season, especially Tony Pujols, keeping Jakari Lane.
This is 3 years he's had Jakari Lane.
Yeah, and congratulations to them.
And
winning
Jakari
the
has gotten
A-Sun.
better every year. Now, if he's A-Sun Player of the Year, this is going to be fascinating because he's got 1 year of eligibility left, and his boy Tay Fields is with him now, and they led the way last night. Jakari had 20, Tay had 18. I mean, they were like Batman and Robin, Superman, Batman, whatever you want to say. They were that, combination that basically got the win over a good Queens team. I mean, Queens is 18-13.
They beat them in Charlotte. Queens did.
It was 74-69 win for UNA last night. I was trying to follow a ton of games. I mean, I was trying to keep up with scores and Lenny, it seemed like the Lipscomb had that game in hand pretty well. I mean, throughout
they cut it. Central Arkansas cut it down to 3 in the second half.
Right.
And I mean, Central Arkansas won the first 5 minutes in the second half.
Came out of the locker room.
And but I'll tell you what, Jacob Ognosevich.
Ognosevich. When you were traveling last week, when we talked to Lenny, you were on assignment. He told us Ognosevich was one of the 3 best players in the league. He just said that he's outstanding. And I noticed he had 20 and 11 last night. So certainly he lived up to the expectation.
And there's some people there within the A-Sun,
yes,
the officials that believe that because Lipscomb got home court advantage and the number 1 seed, that he might be the A-Sun Player of the Year. It's going to come down to him and Jakari Lane. It's those two for player.
Well, and I'm glad we had some clarity to it because we had someone message us yesterday thinking that UNA had the tiebreakers if they won, but I wasn't sure who would be the number 1 overall.
It was crazy. Lenny tried explaining it to us that they needed there was results of other games that needed to happen, but they, being Lipscomb, had the advantage in several of those options.
Well, and then bottom line is in this conference tournament, it's all on home floors. Like it's not on none of it's on a neutral floor.
Right.
So UNA and Lipscomb have to hold serve.
Right. So UNA will be at home for the Austin P game.
Right.
And if they win that game, they'll be at home for the winner of Florida Gulf Coast and Queens.
Mm-hmm. And
the only game that they will have to travel to
would be Lipscomb.
Yes, for the championship game. So UNA is at home for their portion of the tournament, except for the finals. Now, if Lipscomb would get upset by Jacksonville, Eastern Kentucky, Central Arkansas, or Stetson.
And Eastern Kentucky has been hot lately.
Yes.
Lenny told us that. I mean, I know they dropped a game last week, but they had won at one time 8 in a row in the conference. And they're usually in the, one of the favorites in that league as far as preseason wise. They have a really good program.
All right. So that I tell you what, though, it was fun yesterday. We had a good time. But we did miss you. I will say that. We did miss you.
Yeah, I slept for about 8 hours combined. I was just sleeping all day. But, yeah, I hated that I missed it. I was just totally exhausted mentally and physically after getting in, and not getting to bed till like 3 o'clock in the morning. But certainly I hated to miss Lipscomb. And I've been to the facilities and the last 2 summers, and I didn't get the grand tour you guys got, but I've seen a lot of things behind the scenes, and very, very nice arena, Allen Arena. It almost has a nostalgic feel to it a little bit. I know you guys got to see Don Myers, when they were at NAIA Power.
We got to see the court we got to see the original arena court, and the walls are still there for the original arena. It's their practice court now. And so we got to see that, and we got to see their baseball field, which, by the way, is remarkable. Remarkable. But no, it was a fantastic day, and the grits casserole.
Yeah, I heard about
outstanding.
We talked about this on the drive yesterday.
Outstanding.
And again, I've had the tour of the neighborhood around the university just simply because of coming in on the buses, and highfalutin folk.
$700 per square foot.
Yeah.
Is what the homes around Lipscomb go for.
Yeah, Coach told us, Acuff at the summer camp, he said, my wife and I have a nice condo, but they don't have one of the highfalutins.
Yeah,
because they have a home still here in Huntsville as well.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Let's get our first break in. Now, when we come back, the Auburn Tigers were on the court last night taking on Ole Miss.
It was about as big a slaughter as Alabama, Mississippi State.
We'll hear from that, but there was also some nail biters in the league as well.
Oh, there were some onions going on.
We'll check in with the SEC next.
I even got us a little twist, a little Drew and everything.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And a wreck in Madison, Plaza Drive off Hughes Road, had a vehicle hit a tree there. Serious injury from what I'm hearing. And we picked up one in Athens, 72 eastbound at I-65. I don't know about injury on that one. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodin, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA Hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Are you ready to be part of something bigger? Here at Qualys, we don't just support our national security and space programs. We fuel them with cutting-edge technology. From defending our nation to pushing the boundaries of space, Qualys is where innovation meets impact. Join a team driven by purpose, powered by critical technologies, and committed to making a difference. Your skills, your passion, our mission, where your career and your future takes flight. Apply now at qualys-corp.com.
We are your home for March Madness.
3 seconds to go. We're tied at 90. Here comes Suggs. Long three for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. College basketball on the SEC slate last night. The Auburn Tigers, gosh almighty, they put it on the Rebels last night, 106-76, led from start to finish in this one. Jonai Broom, double figures in the win, 23 points. He had a 23-point lead with his last bucket that he scored. As for the night, Jonai had a fantastic evening in my notes here. He had double figures. I think it was 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and a couple block shots in the win. Auburn's 26 victories now are tied for 5th most in program history. They've won at least 26 games in 5 of their last 8 seasons, and their 14-1 record in SEC play is the best 15-game start in conference play in program history. 1 game better than that 98-99 squad. So there you go.
Yeah, they played outstanding. I mean, it was basically over by the middle of the first half.
Yeah,
Auburn took control, and it just the way the game flowed kind of reminded me of Alabama, Mississippi State. It was going to be put away quick, and Ole Miss just didn't. It was 19-9 really quickly. Auburn got up, and when Auburn's playing well offensively, they're really, really tough to deal with because they're already one of the best defensive teams in the league. And like I said, it wasn't very competitive. And Ole Miss is a good team, but like I said, man, Auburn can smell it because you've got 3 games left, and and we all know. I mean, their stretch is not easy. I mean, It's not Alabama's, it's not Murderers Row, and it's all about kind of when you catch a team. And that we're going to kind of talk about that too. That's going to be kind of building off of what happened last night. But it's just, to me, I will say I do think it's a very dangerous game, the one they're playing on Saturday, because I think Kentucky, they got, they're both their guys back, even though Jackson Robinson only played about a half. I will say that he did not play in the second half last night because that was one of the best games of the night in the SEC.
Here's how that one finished.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, let's get here's Bruce Pearl first, talking about the win last night.
Yeah, I mean, they were locked in. They recognized it as the second last home game in Neville Arena this year. This was the second to last time our fans are going to be able to see them up close and personal and just enjoy the quality of their play. And I think that created a bit of a sense of urgency.
And then you mentioned the Kentucky game against Oklahoma last night, courtesy of the Kentucky Sports Network. Here's how it sounded in Norman, Oklahoma.
82-81. Comes into Owe. He gives it back to Perry. 15 seconds as Perry comes across the line. Calls for Owe to come out. He takes the handoff. Owe's got it. Goes to his left, down the lane, angles right, flips it up, goes in with 6 seconds to play. Here comes Oklahoma. Fierce drives into the lane, goes for the rim. It's blocked by Garrison, picked up by Brea.
Oh, my.
Zeros on the clock, and the Cats get out of Oklahoma with a win.
What a win.
Otega always saves the day against his former school.
Yeah, I was singing, away, 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 away. I mean, to me, that's what you had. I mean, if you watch that game, and I watched quite a bit of the second half, I mean, he was unreal. They couldn't guard him. And I think there was some extra pep in his step. I mean, he's playing against his former team, the Oklahoma Sooners. He averaged 12 for them last year, went into the transfer portal. It kind of piggybacks off what you led off the show with, even though that's not a mid-major program. He certainly left, but he was a good player that decided to go into the portal. Probably got paid a lot more money by Kentucky than what Oklahoma was willing to pay. And Owe has actually been their best player. He's He had double figures in every game this season until Alabama. They held him to 2 points. I tried to ask Mark Pope about that. He basically shut me down and gave me a Bush League answer. And then, but Oweh was back to it last night. And I mean, he had 28 points and they could not guard him. And it was a back and forth second half. I mean, it was just,
it was.
I mean, Oklahoma played well and gave it a hell of a run. But now, we saw, as I said, Jackson Robinson gave him 12 minutes all in the first half. Didn't do a whole lot, but I mean, he was back on the floor. He did manage to score 7 points. Lamont Butler, he gave him a half, basically 20 minutes. And scored 7 points, had 6 assists. It'll be interesting to see how much they play Saturday, because if they do, I think they have a chance against Auburn. Now it's going to take
1988. Remember that.
It's going to be the. That's probably what you're going to tell me is that the last time Auburn won in Rupp.
Yep.
So I still think that's probably, when you look at Auburn's schedule, I think they're at Kentucky, they're at Texas A&M, but that's not looking nearly as ominous as it looked maybe a month and a half ago, because Vanderbilt went in there and burned it to the ground last night.
86-84, Vanderbilt winners over Texas.
And that's a huge win for Vanderbilt. Like, that's their signature road win. Like, they should be in the tournament 100% now, while Texas A&M's kind of moving down the seed line. But again, I think the Kentucky game is the most dangerous. Now, they're going to be at home against Alabama. Now, Alabama's the best team I think they're playing.
Yes.
But again, it's going to be in Neville Arena. It's going to be insane. They could be playing
senior night,
and to clinch the SEC. That's going to be a very, very difficult environment for Alabama. So of the 2 road games, though, that Auburn has remaining, I think, the Rupp Arena, and you just mentioned the history. It's
not
probably
won
going
there
to be
since 1988.
And I mean, can Auburn win? Absolutely.
Right.
But I just think of the 2 remaining road games, the most difficult one looks like it could be Kentucky.
And if Auburn does win on Saturday at Kentucky,
right,
they would clinch a share of the regular season title, because with only 2 games left after that, they would at least clinch a share of the regular season title.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Mark from Spring Hill. Good morning, Mark.
What's up, Mark? You there, Mark? We got you.
Morning.
Hey, man. What's going on?
Hey. Well, hey, just real quick. I played on the team that I still think's got the record in the state. We had Bill Armstrong, coached by his father, Jimmy Armstrong. I don't know if you know some of his names, but we played South Lamar, and I was at Aniana, and they beat us 163-91 in a high school game back in the day. I didn't know if you knew where Bill Armstrong may be coaching. He was at Ole Miss with Kennedy.
He actually, I think he's on the staff with Baylor and Scott Drew now.
Oh, great. I know. I played for his father, and I'll just a quick story for the listeners. The coach Burdette, a well-known Alabama coach back in the day, won a lot of championships. He was at South Lamar. He said, "We're not coming there if y'all slow the ball up." So the goal was that there could be no slowing of the game, and there wasn't. I mean, South Lamar had Jerome Wilson and 2 other D1 players. But anyway, just I didn't know if that record has been broken. That's a long time ago, but it was like 163-91. They got us pretty good.
I would say no, especially if that had to be in regulation. So I have not heard of a team scoring 163. Now
I've not. No, I don't.
Are you talking about? You said South Lamar. Are you talking about Darrell Wilson that played at Mississippi State?
Yeah, Darrell Wilson. And,
he was a great player.
And I tell you what they did is, you know how you practice the weave and you just, you never really use it because people are defensive. They did it on us. They would come down and dunk on the weave. You couldn't stop them. And then, they were just, and they did a lot of that on the twos, because the 3-point line was not in yet.
Right.
That far back.
Yeah.
So but that's a lot of points. But anyway, I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, like Bill Armstrong, I do believe is on the staff at Baylor.
Right.
The last year before he joined the Baylor staff, he was at Link Academy. Scott, he coached LeBaron Philon, and Cade Phillips had been there a couple years. Cade is now, of course, he's the son of John David Phillips, the grandson of, as we know, of John Croyle, and Cade is on the Tennessee squad, and he spent his last 2 high school seasons at Link Academy after winning a championship as a sophomore at Jacksonville High School, so over there in the Jacksonville area. But yeah, as far as I know, I believe Bill spent the year at Link, and then now he's at Baylor.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to get some more phone calls in. Jeff and the Burrows holding. Plus, we got some news and notes to get through. We've only just begun. It's our Thursday show. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 60s across the Tennessee Valley, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. A sunny sky Friday afternoon, really going to be a fantastic end of the work week across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. Saturday, not going to be bad, a little bit cooler across the Tennessee Valley. Otherwise, a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
One accident on the board, an injury type in the 100 block of Plaza Drive in Madison. That's going to be off Hughes Road. That one did have an injury involved. Everything else looks good. Had a couple of accidents early, but they've been long gone. Do you need help with projects, leave coverage, or maybe staff positions? Snelling can help with admin, business support, and accounting. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA Hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero.
in American history. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And, that's a little melancholy right there.
Yeah.
So if we're going melancholy,
right,
we do have some sad news to pass along.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you saw this overnight, but Gene Hackman and his wife, they were found passed away at their home. Gene Hackman was 95 years old.
I did not know that. I did not hear about Gene Hackman.
Yes, and so then instantly I was like, okay, if we're gonna mention Gene Hackman's passing,
yes,
we got to let everybody hear this.
There's a condition in tournament play: not talk about the next step until you've climbed the one in front of you. I'm sure going to the state finals is beyond your wildest dreams, so let's just keep it right there. Forget about the crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms, and remember what got you here. Focus on the fundamentals that we've gone over time and time again. And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
Norman Dale.
Forever Norman Dale.
Yeah, and the funny thing is he thought the movie was going to be a disaster, really didn't think much of it, and it ended up arguably being his greatest role ever. Now, he had a ton of them. He was a great actor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget.
Oh, he had a ton of movies.
Yeah, don't forget
movies.
before Hoosiers, Lex Luthor, basically, in those 80s Superman movies. But still, Gene Hackman was one of the great actors of his generation.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, of course, that as well. But again, for us basketball aficionados, he's always going to be Norman Dale. So
my team's on the floor.
Exactly. Only other coach I've ever seen do that was Jack Dawes. He did it once in the Huntsville City Classic. And I've never seen it, he was mad at his team and mad at a certain player and just, said, sit here.
My team is on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Jeff from the Borough is with us. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, they tried to put time back on, but the game was over. That's why I hate replay. I can't stand it. One of the players was drawing last Oklahoma ball game, but they missed a few free throws they should have made. But they called 40 fouls in the ball game. I really like how they blow the whistle. Kentucky had 19 and Oklahoma had 21, but they played okay. They did what they had to do down the stretch, and they won the ball game. So I don't know what they'll do Saturday. I think if they can get one of Auburn's key players in foul trouble, Broom or somebody else, with a couple fouls earned, I think they'll have a good chance to maybe pull the upset. They'll have to shoot the eyes out. Not necessarily from perimeter, they'll have to shoot the eyes out to win, and they'll go up to force not a whole lot, but several turnovers, not a whole lot. They'll have to force some turnovers to win as well. But no, that's what me and Freeman talked about last ball game, and we both agreed that replay. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's just they got to look at that monitor like that. Well, let's see if there's time put back on the clock. It takes 5 minutes to figure it out. But is the game over yet? Yeah, it's finally over now. We all think about that. We should have had some time back.
I didn't see the game. I
watched
saw some of the scores.
They reviewed it at the end because there was they had to make sure to see if after the shot block and then the scrum afterwards, and there was also Amari Williams got into it with someone, and Owe was also getting into it with some of the Oklahoma guys that he played with a year ago. There was a little bit of a altercation. Nothing, luckily.
No, just talking back and forth, basically.
But again, I thought everything was handled properly. there shouldn't have been any more time on the clock. And when you look at the replay, Fears didn't get fouled. He got it, the shot was blocked. Owe got a piece of it. Williams got a piece of it. It was just a great college basketball game. Owe took over down the stretch, and Kentucky escaped. And now it'll be really interesting to see if they, how much more they can get out of Jackson Robinson and Lamont Butler, because they're going to need them both if they're going to have a chance against Auburn at all.
Well, I mean, but Butler fouled out, so that's why.
Right.
That's why he played 20 minutes. He fouled out with about 4 or 5 minutes ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what foul they called, but he fouled out of the game. That's the way he just stayed in. If he had to pay, he fouled out. But and I was asking you guys, what about Michigan State last night? That guy at Maryland should have. They kept saying after the game, I forget which game I was watching last night. It was at halftime, the end of it, and the guy when the guy on ESPN said he should have, that the Maryland guy should have. There was 5 or 6 seconds, 4 seconds left, and he should have drove to the basket instead of shooting that 30.
Yeah, I mean, he should have driven to the rim. I mean, they were at
time to
home,
do so.
and then it allowed Michigan State to get off a half-court shot, which they hit to win the game. So
Maryland didn't play any defense. Once that ball went up, though, they just all kind of stood around. They didn't even try to get back. I mean, it's.
And Scott Van Pelt went home with crap in his pocket.
He was pretty. He was getting into it.
I mean, he's a big Maryland alum, man. But he went.
Oh yeah. That's where he went to. Yeah, that's where he went to school. No doubt about it. But now another good night of good night of basketball. I guess Vanderbilt pushes their cars for the tournament. Correct?
Yeah, they're in. I mean that I thought they were going to get in anyway, but that sealed it. And then Arkansas held on for dear life. I thought they were going to blow it there for a second after leading most of the game, but they found a way to win in overtime, and so they get it done. And then they beat. And they had to. They needed to sweep Texas.
Right.
We talked about it on the show yesterday.
6-9 now, 17-11.
Calipari needs. I think they can get to 19-12, and if they do, they're solidly in. Texas is the one that I think could be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, have a good one, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
It's so amazing all the detail that Jeff gives us when Kentucky wins, and then when they lose, he doesn't.
I quit watching the game about halfway through.
I mean, he told us he barely watched any of the Alabama-Kentucky game, and there he gave us a very good synopsis.
Yeah, I did watch
I did. I watched I didn't see the whole game. Now I watched a lot of the second half.
Right.
But I mean, it was, and then away. I mean, he was just taking over. He just gave us every little detail.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
Oh.
Well, it's amazing when you watch the entire game, what you can actually learn.
Right.
Brandon is with us on the phone lines. Morning, Brandon.
Morning, Brandon.
Well, gentlemen, today at 4 o'clock Central Time, the Garden Girls are going to take the floor in a quest as the 5 seniors and Montana Highfield, a junior, to win their 5th state championship in the last 744 days.
Yeah, because they won 2 volleyballs as well.
If there's ever been a group of seniors that has won more state championships in 2 sports, I don't know it.
Yeah, they got a chance to make some history today against the Brilliant Tigers. It's going to be 4 o'clock over at Legacy Arena. It'll be the first state championship decided. And then, of course, we'll have the 1A boys after that, which will be, played right after it. I think at 5:45.
Brantley and RC Hatch.
And that's going to be an athletic matchup because if I had to choose, I would pick Brantley. I think they've got a little bit more shooting, but RC Hatch, so much tradition. Of course, we know Erwin Dudley. Frankie Sullivan here in town, who's the head coach of
James
Clemens, and he played there, was a great player, won a state championship. Erwin Dudley, that Eugene Mason coached there for so many years, won so many games and over 900 games. So yeah, RC Hatch has got as much tradition on the boys' side as any, and they're going to take on a Brantley team that's very, very athletic.
Some of them RC Hatch fans had me laughing so hard when Ace was throwing them 80-footers. Talking about, what is this, the Globetrotters? I mean, it was some good stuff. But y'all were talking about Hoosiers earlier. Well, we were making jokes yesterday talking about how Coach Austin didn't know Pete Bell.
Yeah.
There ain't going to be no Ricky Rose getting tractors.
Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
Yep, Blue
93.
Chips.
Such a great movie. And I'm trying to remember. Shaquille O'Neal's character was named Neon, wasn't it?
Neon Bodo.
Yep.
Neon Bodo.
Bodo, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was the one that when he got up there, he said he didn't even want any money, and we gave it to him anyway.
Found him in New Orleans. Found him in the Big Easy, French Quarters.
Yeah, he was playing on. He was playing basically on a ship, and was had hit a growth spurt, so to speak. And Butch McRae was Anthony Hardaway's character.
Rick Pitino was in that movie, by the way.
Yeah,
as
Bob
well.
Knight was in it. Dick Vitale, a lot of promos. Bobby Hurley playing in that movie.
Well, when Scott asked Coach Austin yesterday, was that going to be the final time?
Yeah.
I have to say that caused me to skip a breath. I was sitting here wondering, was he going to say that? But I loved his answer. I loved what he said about, it's time for his daughter to go do her thing. So when y'all get Christy Curry on, I want y'all to ask her if she's going to let Ace launch him 85 foot down the court like that. Is that going to be part of the playbook? So I saw Coach Curry sitting over there, and I didn't go over and bother her, but I wanted to ask her what she thought about the repeated behavior of that. So it's amazing how much fun these rides are, but how serious it gets up when you realize that it stops today.
Yeah, today's it. This is it. The last ride for a lot of these kids in the high school level. It's a big time. All right, Brandon, thanks for the phone call. Let's get B Rich in here as well. Morning, B Rich.
Morning, sir.
We got you, B Rich.
I'm here, fellas.
What's up, man?
Hey, real quick, guys, we got to talk about these damn TV windows for basketball games. Listen, last night I finished up my dinner.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Vanderbilt Texas A&M game.
Correct.
45 seconds left, gentlemen. I tell my wife, hey, babe, fix to go hop in the shower, take a quick shower, be right back. 45 seconds left. I go hop in the shower. I take maybe a 4 to 5 minute shower.
Yeah.
Guys, I come back out. There's still 2.9 seconds on the clock, and they're shooting free throws.
Yeah.
So the game finishes on. Vandy holds on. They kick it directly to the Kentucky-Oklahoma game.
Uh-huh.
Gentlemen, take a guess how much time was left in the first half when they kicked it over.
I'll just guess because I didn't see them switch over because I watched the second half. 10 minutes and change, but you probably missed half the first half.
Scott and Drew, there were 6 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first half.
So there's one more.
It over. These 6, Greg Sankey, ESPN, fix these TV windows. They're god awful.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There was a way to. I'm sure there was. I'm sure they started it over on ESPN News.
Yeah,
or kicked it to ESPN3. All that stuff, guys. We have got to do better. We've got to do better. This is getting ridiculous. Anyways,
I think you're right, and I think they should start them at I'm talking about the first game. I think they should start at 5:30, and B Rich will be happy to know. In the second hour, we're going to talk to Roger Hoover. We're going to talk some Alabama women's basketball because they've got a huge game tonight against LSU.
Right,
and so and if they could win that game, they that could seal up. I think I said earlier in the week, it could seal up, potentially hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament.
All right, let's get a break in. I know we got more phone calls. Let's get one in. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. Hour 1 with some phone calls and some more conversations. Talking Ball, 97.7.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck reported at Jordan and Sparkman. Also got Jordan and Oakwood. That may end up being the same wreck. The one at Jordan and Oakwood reported injury. One in Jackson County, 35 northbound at 72 is working. And one in Madison, Plaza Drive off Hughes Road. That one had a vehicle that hit a tree. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap, and it's down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes, Michael Harris, taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Sometimes the coolest little gems are found a little off the beaten path, and that's exactly where you will find Hickory Store Barbecue. They are on Blake Bottom Road, just east of Jeff Road, and it's definitely worth the trip. The smokers are going on site daily, and they have the best smoked wings around. You'll love the fireplace and the covered patio, and best of all, Hickory Store Barbecue is locally owned and operated by the McAlpins. They even have rotating craft beer taps and live music weekly. Hickory Store Barbecue. Go see what you're missing. Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. You'll thank me later.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com.
Oh, my goodness. Thursday morning, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's go to Steeler Mike, shall we?
What's up?
Morning.
Howdy, man.
How are we doing this morning, gentlemen?
We are doing well.
Good.
Yeah, and I got your text, and I understand the point, but the only problem is Rick had a ton of success against Cal, but this year they got swept.
They got swept bad by Kentucky. You know me. I just want to get bobbly blue blah. I didn't hear a word you said. Bobbly blue blah. Yeah. Have you guys seen the movie 8 Mile?
Yes.
With him, the final battle scene.
Oh, yeah.
Bobbly blah. Scott, you need to cue that one. You need to cue that clip up for every time he calls. Play that clip right afterwards, because I heard him say 3 words, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
We're amazed that again when Kentucky wins that all the detail he can give us, but when they lose, he doesn't watch. So
yeah, he doesn't even. I didn't even watch the game. I mean, it's like, give me a break, man. Be a fan or don't. Unreal.
Right.
Unreal. So the rumor was that my dad told me this last night, and I didn't know it, is game day in Knoxville Saturday.
I have not seen where game day was going.
I didn't. I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because it's a top 5 battle basically. I guess Alabama's 6th, but Tennessee, they're playing really well. It's one of the bigger games of the weekend as far as matchup wise goes.
Yeah.
There's no question. I'm just wondering. I know Dick Vitale's going to be there, which is going to be cool.
I saw that. Right. I saw that too.
Looking forward to that one. I Adam, the caller that called in about the time slots, basically the same thing happened in the Tennessee LSU game the other night.
Yeah.
Which
Actually,
game's drugs. Yeah.
It looks like it's in Florida. It's in Gainesville for Texas A&M in Florida.
Oh, I got you.
Wow. Okay. Great. Well, looking forward to Saturday. A lot of good games on the slate. Keep an eye on my Pirates. They're thriving down in Bradenton right now, boys. Have a blessed day.
All right, thanks. So is this Jeff from the Borough? Is this close?
Me too, dog, yeah.
Okay. Just have the defense run sprints.
I get right there, come on. All right, now, hey. Lead off, man. Now we win a kind of fuck how we go. That's where I get a book call out my back.
Is that Jeff from the Borough?
I didn't say it, but it's hilarious.
Gosh. Let's get in Bryce real fast.
What's up, Bryce?
Hey guys, real quick, talking about Gene Hackman, we lost a great one.
Yes.
But I would think his best role, which I did love Hoosiers,
Yes, sir.
was Mississippi Burning. I think he won a lot of awards for that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had a lot of them. There's no doubt. That's another good point. Yep.
Yeah, and but we lost a good one, but that's sad, tragic. But he lived a good life, and like I said, he had a lot of great movies. But Jeff from the Borough, that Water Boy, that's pretty close, guys. It's better than I've seen. Sounds just like him to me.
Right. We'd have to get the uncensored version, but Scott could probably find the 8 Mile clip.
I could, but Waterboy is
blah 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 blah.
I mean Farmer Fran.
Well, that's closest that I've heard it. But guys, real quick.
No, actually,
what
Bryce,
y'all
we
see
are up
Saturday?
against this hard break, bud. It's all
All
right.
right, what do y'all see Saturday? But thanks for letting me talk. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. 7:58. We got to get a break in. Chris Lee's going to join us. We got to talk a little Vandy basketball.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Grapefruit League Baseball today. Atlanta Braves laying $1.20 against the Nationals plus 100. NASCAR Cup Series, the Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix of the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Shane Van Gisbergen, the 5-1 favorite. Connor Zillage 6-1. Tyler Reddick 7-1. William Byron plus 750. College basketball last night. Auburn 106-76 over Ole Miss, covering as 12.5-point favorites. Today, Liberty, a 6.5-point favorite over the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State, 133.5 the total. And UAB is a 1.5 underdog at the Wichita State Shockers. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, hour two, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, welcome in. Big thanks, Sportsman Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, as always. Hour two, 881-5151. Got to dial the 256 first. That'll get you in there. They, the official medical providers for the Rocket City Trash Pandas and the UAH Chargers. Don't forget UAH tonight on the road, West Alabama, closing out the regular season. 7:30 tip. We'll have pregame probably around 7:15. So it's UAH basketball at West Alabama, trying to complete a perfect regular season in conference play. Never been done before in conference play, we don't think. So anyway, last night, SEC basketball, Vanderbilt again continuing to get things done. They have been a great surprise in the league, 19-9 now, 7-8 overall, thanks to the 86-84 win over Texas A&M. And look, Mark Byington came in there and has quickly reinstalled what Vanderbilt basketball was. Remember, Kevin Stallings had it going on.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Stallings had it rolling there in the Music City.
For a while, he did, yes.
Yes.
Good friend of Lenny Acuff's.
Yep. By the way, still throws BP to batters there at Lipscomb. Those
nice.
to the Major League Baseball hitters that come in to train. Kevin Stallings still up there. But anyway, Vanderbilt again gets it done. Prime position now to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they are. And we're going to talk about the Vanderbilt Commodores and Mark Byington and being, a strong candidate for SEC Coach of the Year because at SEC, tip off, which was back, in October, but it seems like it was just yesterday, before the season started. Vanderbilt was picked, 16th in the SEC. They certainly have not done that. They've played at a much higher level. We're going to talk about Vanderbilt's road win last night and the SEC with Southeastern 16s and the longtime publisher of VandySports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and that is Chris Lee. Chris, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning to you guys.
Hey, man. Mark Byington, what a job he's done since coming over from James Madison. What a win last night against a really tough Texas A&M squad. But Vanderbilt, I thought they were in anyway, but this pretty much solidified it to me last night, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a different standard of in, and it's because you just never know what's going to happen in conference tournaments or if somebody like an Oklahoma or Georgia's going to win 4 or 5 straight. So I'm still in the camp of just to make absolutely 100% sure. You need one more win. But I think my guess is they're better than 50-50 without it. And by the way, why don't you just go beat Arkansas and Georgia and Missouri and get yourself a 6 or a 7 maybe at that point, right? I mean, why stop there? But what an amazing win that was last night. Guys, I'm watching the game, and I've written a preview for a national outlet. I said, here's the stuff to watch. Their bigs get in foul trouble. They got nothing behind them. Well, both their bigs picked up their third foul in the 17-minute mark of the second half. Then both of them picked one up with about 11 and a half minutes to go. That would be McLaughlin and Carey. And, they've got nothing in the post after. They've got J.Q. Roberts, who's really not a guy who's playing any minutes on a top half SEC team, but that's what they had to ride with. And then Jason Edwards, who's their leading scorer, the kind of kid who can carry them. It has a collision in the second half, goes down on the floor for a minute, pops back up, hits some free throws. He gets his third foul, with, I think, 12 minutes left, 9 minutes left, something like that. And then he turns and argues the call, and they slap him with the technical. So you're like, okay, they got 9 minutes to play. They probably got the 3 most key players on the team all on the bench now. There's no way they're going to do this, right? And then Tyler Nickel hits a few threes. They get some stops. I mean, it was amazing what they did last night. McLaughlin fouled out with about 3 minutes left, I think. Harry played with 4. Edwards played with 4. Grant Huffman, where they'd have been better defenders, played with 4. I think Chris Magnon, maybe their best defender, played with 4. I mean, I don't know how they went to College Station and won that game, and some of it has to do with A&M just isn't a great shooting team.
Yeah.
But to go and get 28 fouls called against you, and by the way, it's not just the number of fouls, it's when they're called. Because if you put a team in the bonus early, and they did it 6 minutes left in the first half last night, and I think they might have done it even earlier than that in the second half. It's not just the free throws. It's like how you can defend. You've got to be super careful. And guys, they were calling touch fouls all night in that game. And then somebody would get shoved and there would be no whistle. It was one of the more bizarrely officiated games that I've ever seen. And like, if you just told me all that I just unpacked, I would just be like, there's no way they're going to win. I cannot see a scenario. And they went and did it anyway.
So Mark Byington, he did this successfully at James Madison. And then before that, he did it at Georgia Southern successfully. So how has he been able to come in here in year one? What did he do different? What has he done different to get Vanderbilt headed back in the right direction?
I think anytime you have a change, there's 2 parts to it, right? There's one part is how good is the guy that you've got on your sideline. And I think he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mentioned the places he was. He's only been to one NCAA tournament, but go back and look at Georgia Southern and James Madison and what he did, what those programs did since he was there, and what they've done since. Although I guess for JMU, that's just 1 year. And the contrast is pretty stark. I mean, those are programs that had a lot of resources. JMU's putting more into sports now. But, I mean, Georgia Southern basketball, like, who cares, right? And so I think that's one part. I think they got a really good coach. I think they had a really bad one. And so I think you kind of get the double bounce. You go from just taking a bad coach out and replacing him, you know, with, say, an average one, and then you go better than that. I think that's a lot what's going on. But let's focus on Mark Byington for a minute. Guys, the 9 guys that play the most for him, one's a freshman, that's Tyler Tanner, and that was the one good thing Jerry Stackhouse left him. I mean, that would have been it. But Tyler Tanner was a real find, and I give credit to Jerry Stackhouse for finding him, although he was, 15 minutes from campus at Brentwood Academy. So it's not like it took a ton of work. But he signed him, and then Mark Byington kept him. But then, look, their top 8 guys, other than Tyler Tanner, are all transfers that Mark Byington brought in since he got there. And then they had to play J.Q. Roberts last night, who was a one Stackhouse holdover, who, again, wouldn't be playing under most circumstances, but they had to have him last night. I mean, guys, you hear the stats all the time of, like, there's some threshold where you can have, like, a certain amount of transfers, but if you turn over your whole roster, like, it's sort of counterproductive. Like, you don't go to the tournament with that kind of team. And he did that without a lot to recruit to. I mean, Vanderbilt basketball has not been relevant, for any sustained period in over a decade now. And I just think that's a lot to overcome. But I give that guy credit, man. He came in right away, and he was not talking about rebuilds. He was talking about, we want to win now. Yeah. I think everybody could have forgiven him for just saying, hey, this is the tough spot. It's hard to get transfers in here. Let's give this some time. Everybody would have said, yeah, you're right. That's a realistic position. That's not the one he took. And barring something crazy, they're going to the NCAA tournament, which I don't think anybody would have predicted a year ago.
No, I don't think they would have at all. I mean, I think he's done a remarkable job. That's why, to me, the 2 guys for Coach of the Year in the SEC, it's Bruce Pearl or Mark Byington. Usually you have to give Pearl credit simply because I know they were supposed to be good, but they've been dominant. I mean, this is the best league we've seen in many a year, Chris, and yet Auburn has a chance to. I didn't think anybody would go 17-1 or 16-2, but right now for me, 16-2 seems to kind of be the floor.
Drew, it's hard to go 16-2 in a down SEC, right?
Right.
Like, we've probably seen some Kentucky teams that were like national title contenders that didn't do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
To do that at Auburn in a year where the league is like, I was on another show before years, and I got asked about who'd win the SEC tournament. And basically, my answer was, look, you got 5 teams that I think you could make a legitimate case to make a Final Four. So how tough is it to win your league? And by the way, that doesn't include Kentucky, which, I think could get there with a hot run, but the injuries and just the defense.
Yeah.
The point being, it's a super deep league.
Mm-hmm.
And to dominate that, and by the way, let's get to the bottom of the league. We got the bottom half. We got the Vanderbilts, the Oklahomas, the Texases, the Georgias. There's not an off night. I mean, even South Carolina, which is last in the league, guys, one SEC win. They're 3-0 against the ACC. There's never a pass out in the SEC. And to put up that kind of record in this kind of year where the league is top heavy with the league teams and the bottom teams are good too, it's incredible.
So with that being said, can an Arkansas, an Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, LSU, Georgia, Texas, Mississippi State, right now, those are the teams that would have to win 5 games in 5 days to bring home an SEC tournament championship. That road is going to be, it's going to be a gauntlet unlike any other. Can any one of them survive 5 days, 5 games to win it?
That feels like an aggressive ask. I think you would have to get the right path. You would have to get
the right draw.
You would probably have to face like an Arkansas team that's not super deep. You might have to get Kentucky, although Kentucky's so good in that tournament. The building's going to be overrun with its fans, is Drew and I know from being there. Yeah. But I'm thinking you would have to get the ideal draw to do something like that would have to be playing a team that's not super deep.
Okay.
Somewhere or playing a couple teams like that and maybe running into somebody that's disinterested. But I mean, otherwise, guys, you're going to have to face somewhere along the line, an Alabama, an Auburn, a Tennessee, a Florida, and that's a tough ask. I mean, I think you're going to have to get a path that includes a team that's got an injury or something to somebody that's not deep, run into a couple of those, and then hope you catch an Auburn or Florida or Tennessee on an off night. But that seems improbable to me. It's tournament basketball, any stuff can happen, but that seems like a lot.
And then as far as you talked about Vandy still having some work to do, but it's not far-fetched. I mean, they've got 2 more games at home, and they've been really good in Memorial Gym. They've kind of got that magic working again. But they as we've kind of seen, no question about it, that I thought they acquitted themselves well even at home against Auburn. But they've got a chance in going into March in those 3 games. You've got Missouri at home coming up on Saturday, and then they have Arkansas, and Arkansas is fighting for their tournament lives, and then they go on the road to Georgia, where if they can win at Texas A&M, they certainly could against UGA. So there's an outside chance they could still win 10 conference games. But as far as the league goes, I still say 11 teams. Your colleague Blake Lovell earlier this week agreed with us. Where do you stand? Because really, to be honest, though, when you watch the games last night with the eye test, there's really only 2 teams I think that are not very good in the league, and that's South Carolina and LSU. And yet, as you pointed out, on any given night, they're still very capable.
Yeah, I mean, and I would nuance the phrase "not very good." I think in any other year,
right,
LSU could have been an NIT team, and maybe South Carolina. It feels like a stretch with their guard play, but it's all relative to what you're seeing. I mean, gosh, at this point, you've got 9 teams that have been virtual locks. I think Vanderbilt, moves into that really safe for now territory. That's 10. Arkansas was probably bubble in before last night. That's 11. I guess Georgia and Texas are probably bubble out right now. And who am I missing?
Well, you said I know you mentioned Texas,
right?
And yeah. I thought they were going to be in until the last couple of games. I thought once South Carolina thrashed them, and then They did lose the heartbreaker in overtime last night. Like I said, to me right now, Georgia, I thought was on life support until they,
got a win over Florida.
They beat Florida, so that kind of kept them alive in the deal. But to me, right now, LSU and South Carolina are the only ones that are completely dead. OU, Texas, Georgia, Arkansas. I think Vanderbilt is off that list now. So to me, Arkansas, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, they're the ones kind of fighting it out for the last few bids from the league, and to see if the SEC could get it potentially as many as 12 in.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. I don't have everybody's schedule in front of me, so I don't know what that looks like totally. But yeah, that's how I see it too.
Yeah.
Well, this weekend, Auburn does travel to Kentucky.
Is that, based on what we saw last night, is that a dangerous game for Kentucky?
Yes.
Scott pointed out that Auburn has not won in Rupp since 1988 in the days of Sonny Smith. That's crazy.
Yeah.
1988. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kentucky, like the kind of game that Kentucky stubs its toe in feels like the lower end teams that you catch one at home or on the road. Like, it feels like Kentucky brings its best game against the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Lamont Butler played last night. I don't know that shoulder's ever going to get 100%, but it was good enough for him to go.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that it's, I think common sense, like you look at the teams and I just like, there's not a lot of, if you put them on a neutral floor with your life on the line, I think Auburn wins that game, 8-9 times out of 10, but that's not how it plays out. Kentucky's been great in those spots. So I think, Auburn hasn't had a lot of letdowns, but
no.
And like they wouldn't even have to have a letdown, right? I mean, Kentucky could play off its mind and hit 18 threes. They're capable of doing that. Ole carried them to a win last night. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility Kentucky wins that game. I think I'd still take Auburn, but that can be a tricky spot.
We started this conversation talking about Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back there because they have Missouri this weekend at home in Nashville on Saturday. That's that's
probably going to be a fun game to
watch. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was the first time, and look, officiating home and road are very different. I can't remember the last time Vanderbilt played a road game and didn't have McLaughlin and Carey both in foul trouble. And they're not big. They're 6'7", 6'8" underneath. You give them a little bit more favorable whistle. They got a shot to beat anybody. Mark Mitchell's a tough cover, but I don't know. You're right, Drew. The Magic has come back in that building a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised. That first game was with a game right up until the last minute or two. Feels like a spot that they could pull one, which they've been really good at doing lately.
Well, and what are your thoughts on Alabama, Tennessee? Because this could be Tennessee's on the 2 line right now, Alabama the 1, but this could flip. Rick Barnes' team is very, very good defensively as always. Now, offensively, they're kind of a mixed bag at times. Alabama looks like they're getting better defensively, but still, probably going to be without Darion Reed, I would think. Your thoughts on Alabama and Tennessee in Knoxville?
Well, look, it feels like they've been without somebody key for all but, I don't know, a couple of games maybe.
Right.
For probably all of them if you include Wrightsell, who's, we've counted out for good, but he would have been part of that roster. The thing that strikes me about Alabama guys, and look, they've had some nights where Sears wasn't good and the shots didn't fall and, they just didn't look like they played disciplined, but they are college basketball styles make the fight, right?
Yeah.
And you go on Ken Palm and look at their possessions, like they can get everybody into a mid-70s possession game, which I don't think is probably what Tennessee wants. They are the most maybe tempo-proof team in college basketball. And I just think when you get into a scoring match with them, look, Tennessee on the right night, I mean, Ziegler plays well just about every night. Lanier has been really up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more up than down lately, which has kind of gone into why they're winning some games of late. I'm not that they ever lost a lot, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I I don't know. It just feels like a spot to me where Alabama can maybe dictate tempo a little bit more. And when you get Alabama that type of game, there's not a lot of teams that can beat them.
Mm-hmm. And then the final question is, we had like Blake said he went with 11 on his final tally. Where are you right now as far as the NCAA? We talked about the 4 that are fighting it out, but ultimately when we finish up and code it, when we'll see you in Nashville in a little over a week, I guess, about a week and a half or so. Where is the league? Can they get 12, or is it? I'm still having a hard time believing that both Texas and OU can get in. I mean, I think both of them are going to have a problem in the end. I'm not sure they're going to get enough wins, but I do like where Arkansas sits. And Georgia, I guess I'll have to wait and see that. Actually, to be honest, at the end of the regular season, Georgia and Vandy game could be big.
Yeah, I mean, 12 feels like the right answer to me. I'm not sure quite how they get there, but I don't know. You know, Oklahoma could have really helped itself last night.
No question.
And didn't. I think that was maybe if I was leaning 13, which I'm not sure I was, that one might have flipped it back to 12. 13, I mean, 14 feels impossible. And 13 feels like just too big of an ask because everybody's playing somebody that can beat them every night. And I'm just not sure there's enough wins to go around at the end of the day. But having said that, I have also not looked at everybody else on the bubble with the fine-tooth comb and mapped out schedules and everything. It just feels like without knowing anymore, that's a big ask.
Well, certainly it's not a big ask to check out the Southeastern 16. It's outstanding. Check out their YouTube channel. Check out VandySports.com if you want the best coverage of Vanderbilt athletics. And, of course, Chris Lee is heavily involved with both of those. Man, we always appreciate the conversation, and we can look forward to more of your great content. But thank you for talking some SEC hoops this morning, man.
Yeah, two quick things.
Sure.
We made a move to Vandy 24/7 a couple of months ago.
Oh,
so
my bad, man.
New home.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I didn't know. You've been with Rivals for like 20 years, so I haven't paid.
22
I didn't pay.
years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess since their inception, so I hadn't seen that you guys made the move. Wow, congrats.
Yeah, well, hey, Drew, let me just tell you, there's going to be a day where I go on somebody's show and I say the same thing, so don't feel bad.
Yeah,
Don't have that hard.
I had not caught that.
Yeah, the other thing too is we're knee deep into baseball right now too.
Oh, no question.
We're doing a daily baseball show, and let me tell you, you got a couple of good teams in your state. Alabama, I don't know how much people are paying attention to what Justin LeBron is doing, but that kid is having an incredible year.
Right.
And Rob Ball has done an unbelievable job at rebuilding. So,
and
yeah,
Troy's
at a
off to
time
a good start.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, we're covering that wall to wall right now too. So if people want to get their fix there, it's hard to get a lot of in-depth coverage right now when people are focused on other stuff, but we're on top of that too.
Vandy 247. I've got to get used to saying that.
There you go.
So do I.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in, shall we? Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I would go take
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck at Jordan and Oakwood that's showing as an injury type. Had one in Jackson County, 35 northbound at Highway 72. Had one in Madison on Plaza Drive off Hughes Road. That one had a vehicle that hit a tree. Officers, construction workers, and first responders are putting their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming.
At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Oftentimes, the wheelchairs our veterans and first responders receive from their healthcare providers are subpar at best. Some are falling apart, with a years-long waiting list for a new one. This lag causes a tremendous amount of stress for our heroes and creates a burden for their caregivers. Isolation leads to depression. We build what they need to get outdoors, hunting, fishing, or playing sports. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. One of your favorite events starts today in Indianapolis.
What is it, the Combine?
The Underwear Olympics.
Where Milrow run a 4.4 and throw it 75 yards. Somebody will fall in love with him, think he's a first-round pick.
Today at 2 o'clock, your defensive linemen and linebackers will get started. You will not see the quarterbacks until Saturday. Offensive linemen will wrap it up on Sunday. Tomorrow's the defensive backs and tight ends.
I don't think Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are throwing.
No, they are Ashton Genty, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
They have all decided that they are going to forego the on-the-field
stuff,
workouts. Yes. And remember now, last year, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, they all said thanks, but no thanks to working out at the Combine because they came and did the interview portions, but because they did some of the Senior Bowl stuff and they've got their own pro days and they've got everything else, they don't need, their representation and everybody else is telling them they don't need to partake in the Combine.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just most of these top 5, top 10 guys now are pretty much taking that kind of path.
And did you see that? I mean, the whole reason why we have the Combine was because back in the day, these NFL teams needed to do physicals of these guys. That's how it all started. They just needed to bring everybody together so that they could do mass physicals and get everybody's height and weight and stuff. That's how all this started. Then it just blossomed into how many bench presses you can do and 40-yard dashes and all this other stuff. That's how it all came around. If you really give a darn, the 40-yard dash record is Xavier Worthy, 4.21 seconds.
That
He
was
set
last year.
Yep. The bench press is Stephen Paya at 49 reps. He sent that in 2011.
Who?
Gerald Sensabaugh has the vertical jump record at 46 inches.
Right.
2005. And the 3-cone drill, 6.28 seconds, set back in 2018 by Jordan Thomas. In case you are really, really giving a darn about what goes on in Indianapolis.
I could say who on most of those. Like I've heard of Sensabaugh and Jordan Thomas, but I wouldn't say they're Hall of Fame players.
No. Well,
I mean,
you throw to air and you run in your
my biggest
underwear.
example is Mike Mamula out of Boston College. I mean, he tested off the charts with everything. Couldn't play dead in a B Western.
Like I said.
Like Jalen Milroe.
You throw to air and you run in your underwear.
And Milroe's
all it is.
And I will say this about Milroe. He could still be developed. I don't see him being long-term successful, but you never know. I mean, he has tools, but I just think he struggled from the neck up so much, and he had such a bad Senior Bowl. I think, his ceiling to me would be right now, maybe a 3rd-round pick. I would lean more toward 4th. But I don't see him going in the 1st or the 2nd round. I mean, I think he'll interview well at the combine. He's certainly gonna. I want to see. I know it'll be. You just said that you put it in the exact terms, throwing against air.
Yep. How
is he going to do though? Because he did not look good in the Senior Bowl in the 7-on-7 at all.
All right, so that's just something to keep an eye on starting today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you really are tuned in to the NFL Combine. Let's get a break in because when we come back, Roger Hoover going to join us. We'll talk Alabama women's basketball coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 60s across the Tennessee Valley, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. A sunny sky Friday afternoon, really going to be a fantastic end of the work week across the area. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. Saturday, not going to be bad, a little bit cooler across the Tennessee Valley. Otherwise, a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at Jordan and Oakwood that's showing as an injury type. Had one in Jackson County, 35 northbound at Highway 72. Had one in Madison on Plaza Drive off Hughes Road. That one had a vehicle that hit a tree. Officers, construction workers, and first responders are putting their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Coming up tonight inside Coleman Coliseum, Kim Mulkey and whatever crazy-ass outfit she's going to have on.
Oh, who knows?
Will come to Coleman Coliseum.
It'll gain attention.
Huh?
We know it'll be an attention game.
It'll be something.
Yeah.
Coming up tonight, 8 o'clock, the Alabama women welcome LSU inside Coleman Coliseum.
Yeah, they do. And our next guest will be on the call. And it's a big game because it's the last home game for an outstanding senior class. Now, they had senior day earlier as they beat the Auburn Tigers 66-50, and the seniors were honored after that contest. But this one, it will be the last home game of this season, which has been a groundbreaking one for Krista Curry and the Crimson Tide. They have stayed inside the top 25 for the majority of the season. And I still say tonight, when you're talking about taking on a top 10 team in LSU, again, Kim Mulkey, if Alabama could win this game inside Coleman Coliseum, I think they make a very strong case for the first time since the salad days of Rick Moody of hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament on campus, which would be monumental. We're going to talk about that and more with our next guest. He's also doing Alabama baseball full-time for the second straight year. We just had Chris Lee talking about the unbeaten Crimson Tide of Rob Vaughn in year 2, and we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest, and that is Roger Hoover of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, who's been kind enough to join us. Roger, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Huntsville. How's everyone doing?
We're doing well,
good.
Sir. And big game tonight for Christy Curry and squad. This a lot at stake. I think if they could win this game, Roger, it could go a long way toward getting a home court advantage, which is huge with the way the women's tournament is run for Christy Curry. I know she talked before the season. This was one of the goals she had potentially for this group, was to get on campus games and to have a chance to potentially get to that second weekend.
Yeah, it's a huge goal, and it would be a great step forward for this team. It's been tough in the NCAA tournament. Some of the locations we've gone to the last few years. When we first got back a few years ago in San Antonio in the bubble, when we made it to the round of 32. A couple of years ago, made it to UConn, but didn't make it out of the first round, fell to Baylor. And then last year played great against Florida State, won in the first round. And then you run into that host team on their home floor, Texas, and it was hard to get past them. So I think home court advantage is key in the NCAA tournament if you want to advance to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight and have a great run. So if Alabama is able to do that, I think it would be great. And for Alabama, I feel like the resume is already really strong, but you really need that one win to put you over the top, like you mentioned. I think tonight against LSU would be that opportunity. This is a Crimson Tide team that really doesn't have any bad losses. Even the Vanderbilt loss, which I know the coaching staff still feels like didn't get Alabama's best shot that day. It was the return of Sarah Ashley Barker. Michaela Blake had a great game scoring. Well, she's had, several games at 50-plus points. I don't put that into the bad loss category. So this team's really taking care of everything it needed to this year. Maybe the road loss at Tennessee was a little tough last week, considering Alabama was ahead of Lady Vols in standings, but that's also a Tennessee team that's beating UConn. But this resume couldn't be much better for Alabama. They've really won every game they're supposed to win so far in their schedule, and now they're finishing up with not just LSU tonight, but at Oklahoma on Sunday. So it's a very tough 2-game stretch to close out this season. But if there's ever a group that's prepared for a stretch like this, it's this version of the Crimson Tide.
And you mentioned getting some pieces back. This Alabama team was not whole for a little bit during the stretch of the season, but when they were whole before that, they were really impressive. And now it just seems like everybody's back. It's the well-oiled machine again, and it's kind of trending like it was earlier in the season.
It really was. Alabama, you mentioned, got off to a great start this season, only one loss in non-conference play, and that was kind of a loss that no one will hold against you when you go on the road to Cal and the SEC, ACC challenge and lost by only a handful of points. But then Sarah Ashley Barker goes down with injury. The first SEC game against Florida, Alabama kind of learns to play without her just a little bit. Zay Green steps up first scoring, and then obviously Aaliyah Nye both outside shooting, where she's been the best in Alabama history as a three-point shooter, and she also had to go downhill a little more to the rim. Alabama got in a good rhythm there, but then Barker comes back, and I think it took a couple games for everybody to kind of find their role offensively again. And since they've done that, we've seen some really good performances ever since. Got off to a slow start against Auburn this past week on Sunday, but then rallied back a 17-0 run to close out the first half after he'd been down 16. And that 17-0 run, amazing defense, great shots. It might have been the most fun stretch of any Alabama sporting event I've attended since the first half of the Georgia football game. It kind of had that kind of feeling as Alabama was able to come back, take the lead, and then obviously get the win on senior day. So this is a group that's played a lot of SEC basketball, and they are prepared for a challenge like this. Now it seems to be the time to get over the top against one of these power teams in the conferences like South Carolina, who Alabama played tough a few weeks ago without Barker, and now you get LSU tonight at full strength. It should be a lot of fun.
It should be, and I got to give a shout out too to during that time period where they were without Sarah Ashley Barker. I think it's one of the things Coach Curry's done a great job of bringing talent out of the transfer portal. But Ohio State transferred Diana Collins. I thought she did a really nice job when Barker was out.
She really did. Steps in that starting role well, and she's been so good at just Alabama's point guard depth has not necessarily been there the last few years. Had some good point guards like Loyal McQueen and Hannah Barber, even going back to Jordan Lewis. But even during Jordan Lewis's days, there was never a great option off the bench to replace her. Having Diana Collins be able to spell not only Zay Green this year to give her some rest, but those two are able to play on the floor at the same time. Diana is just a great all-around guard. And I think she's been a huge addition. And just having a little bit more depth from the guard perspective is something that, again, Alabama really hasn't had the last few years. And it's made this team that much better.
Yeah. Well, this is a big game with LSU. You look at the SEC standings right now, and this Alabama team finds themselves just on the outside of one of those top four spots in the conference. This is a big game. You mentioned needing to get one over the better teams in the league. This would go a long way in helping get into that top four.
It really would, and I think Alabama saw last year, what it means to be a top four seed, even though the Crimson Tide didn't win in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament when it did earn that number 4 seed. I think just getting any extra rest you can get in March, I think helps you. And helps you have fresh legs for the NCAA tournament. And it's just a great statement to say you're one of the 4 best teams in what continues to be the toughest conference in NCAA women's basketball. Yes, there probably won't be as many bids for NCAA teams, for SEC teams to the NCAA tournament like there are on the men's side, but still up and down, this is a really tough conference to compete in. It got even tougher with Texas and Oklahoma joining the league. So for Alabama, what a great statement it would be if you're able to win against LSU and then back it up on Sunday with a win at Oklahoma. And then I think you would be one of the top 4 seeds going into Greenville, and that would give everyone a good chance to rest and make sure I don't miss any baseball games coming up this upcoming week.
Well, that's a great segue there. Real quickly, touch on baseball. What a start. 9-0 for Rob Vaughn. And I got to tell you, Roger, I was there for the Jacksonville State game before Bama Hoops, and it took 3 hours and 45 minutes. It was a marathon, but a very deep lineup for Rob Vaughn, 1 through 9 offensively.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the season, even with a little bit of adversity with Garrett Staten. He was off to a great start, had a grand slam opening weekend. He goes down with a broken finger against Middle Tennessee. Even with that, Brennan Norton steps in and transferred from Jacksonville State. He's been playing well. It's just a fun group to be around, and I think it's a very athletic team. The way they're able to run the bases, not just stolen bases, but getting first to third on singles that last year you would have been a little more station-to-station baseball. They're athletic in the outfield. Richie Bonamolo Jr. can track everything down in center field, and then right next to him, Bryce Fowler in right field. He very easily could be an SEC center fielder. It just happens to be that Alabama's got two guys that can patrol the outfield as well as they do. And then just up and down the lineup, there's a lot of punch. There's really no chances to take a deep breath. I thought the bottom of the order did really good in that midweek game against Jacksonville State when Brady Neal homered, Bonamolo kept getting on base. And then when you're having a player like Bryce Fowler hit grand slams in front of probably the best player in SEC baseball right now, Justin LeBron. I mean, that says a lot about how good this team can be. Coleman Mizell, we have seen this coming for him. Alabama's DH, he put on a show at batting practice each and every day last year. Didn't get many chances to play with how veteran Alabama's outfield lineup was, but man, getting to see him unleashed on college baseball this year has been a blast. He's got some serious power and sometimes some really easy, effortless power. So you combine all that with a guy like Will Hodo, who's seen everything in SEC baseball, as essentially a 4-year starter now. He got the walk-off three-run homer against Ohio State and Jacksonville. He's the SEC Player of the Week. There's just no weaknesses in this lineup. And then a pitching staff that has a lot of promise. So we've seen some up and down outings for the Tide, both in the starting rotation and in the bullpen this year. But there's some serious star power led by Riley Quick, who probably loves Alabama more than anybody that's listening right now. I mean, that guy absolutely bleeds crimson. And, with everything that's coming up for him, and I think it's a good major league career ahead of him, he wants to finish his time at the capstone as a winner with Alabama baseball. So it's been a lot of fun. This team honestly has been a breath of fresh air around campus, and I think Alabama fans need to start making some plans now to get down to the Joe for all these SEC games that are coming up. Some good midweeks as well. Troy, Southern Miss will be in town. It's tough in the next few weeks. It's going to be a good stretch coming up for Alabama baseball.
Was that Ohio State game surreal?
I think so. I unfortunately didn't go back to Jacksonville, where ironically enough, I used to work for 8 years in that ballpark.
You did.
Jumbo shrimp. I was getting ready to go to the Auburn basketball game for the women's team in Tuscaloosa, and got to listen to the crazy finish of it. I mean, it was such a great comeback win for the Crimson Tide. After, checking my phone earlier, and it's like, okay, 10-0. After the big game of the weekend was really NC State. That was the one Alabama won more than anything. Yeah, because you're going up against a former College World Series team from a year ago. It's Riley Quick against an ACC lineup, and he did his job with some scoreless innings. So really, the Ohio State game was going to be a bonus anyway. But for the way Alabama came back, and Barry Allen saying it's the best comeback in Alabama baseball history, I trust Barry Allen when it comes to baseball history at the University of Alabama. So amazing comeback, and I think the boys celebrated and had a good time with it on their way home.
Yeah, they certainly did. Down 10-0, winning 12-10. They got, and then they've got a 3-game series. And I know Roger will be on the call. North Dakota State coming in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But you also have, I guess you'll have to take one game off, though, because the women are going to be in Norman, Oklahoma, taking on the Oklahoma Sooners to end the regular season. Roger, as we swing back to finish this up and talk ladies basketball with the Tide women, if they go 1-1 in this 2-game stretch, they still have a shot in your mind to get a top 4?
It would really depend on everything just in front of Alabama. It depends on how a team like Kentucky would do. Probably South Carolina, LSU pretty locked in as well. Texas kind of locked into those top three. So I think it mostly would depend on how Kentucky would finish. I think Alabama's best shot is still going 2-0.
Yeah,
to close it out.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I think that would definitely lock it up, no doubt. And in your mind, what do they need to do tonight against LSU to get the win?
Rebounds. Alabama's got a rebound veteran, especially the Auburn game. Alabama didn't do as great a job on the glass as they wanted, especially early. That's what allowed Auburn to get off to a good start. It's back to basics with basketball. Rebound and take care of the basketball. And I think taking care of the basketball may be the most important thing for this team, because when they've had games where they've turned it over a lot, that's when it's either been a struggle, a tight win, or a loss. But in games where they're really limiting their turnovers and not getting in foul trouble, Alabama's really hard to beat, especially watching Essence Cody. If she can stay out of foul trouble in the first half, playing in the post against some really talented post players from LSU, I think Alabama's in really good shape. But if she gets in foul trouble, your depth gets tested a little bit beyond that. in the post, and then rebounding becomes an even bigger deal coming up. So it's going to be a good night for basketball. I think the student section is going to be about as rowdy as it's been for any women's basketball game this season. I'm not predicting it's going to be sold out or anything like that, but I think we're on our way to one of the better crowds we've had this year after we had a tremendous crowd all around the court this past week against Auburn. So looking forward to it. Should be a fun day in Tuscaloosa, and as you guys have talked about, hopefully it is not the last time players like Aaliyah Nye, Zay Green, Sarah Ashley Barker step foot on the Coleman Coliseum floor. Hopefully this is a win tonight that could propel Alabama to some more opportunities in Tuscaloosa.
No doubt. Well, Roger, have a great call, man. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
You guys are the best. Thank you for having me on. Roll Tide.
All right. Thanks, Roger. All right, let's get our final break in. When we come back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Another busy day inside the BJCC today.
That's right.
Last night, though, for those that missed it or anything else like that, Hazel Green's run came
Yesterday
to an
morning.
end.
What a game, though. What a double overtime game against Park Crossing. Man.
Yeah.
Tough
Feel
loss.
bad for Tim Miller in their group.
They've had such a run, 7 years in a
remarkable
row.
run.
Man, I mean, that was tremendous stuff. And then today will be 7A. And,
today you get, what is today, Thursday?
Yeah.
7A girls will start at 9 a.m. and then your 7A boys will mix in there. So it's 9 and noon for your 7A girls, 10:30 and 1:30 for the 7A boys. 7A boys side, Florence will be in action. And unfortunately, no 7A girls from our area made it down to the BJCC. So we just have our Florence Falcons in the 7A boys side. And then the 1A girls and 1A boys, we will crown champions for the first time tonight. 4 o'clock and 5:45 are those. And then tomorrow, get ready because it is on
2A,
as far as
3A, and 4A all decided, I believe.
Yeah, 2A girls will start tomorrow morning at 9. Then your 2A boys, then your 3A girls, then your 3A boys, then your 4A girls, then your 4A boys. So it's a busy day down there tomorrow.
Yeah, and we've kind of adopted Spring Garden. Good luck to them. As Scott said earlier in the show, they're trying to make history, trying to win their 5th state championship, as Brandon, our great caller, told us, in just over 700 days, which is 2 volleyball and 3 basketball. So they're taking on the Brilliant Tigers at 4 o'clock. So I'm sure there's going to be the entire town of Spring Garden and the entire most of Marion County from the Brilliant side are going to be there. That should be a great atmosphere. And then you already talked about Brantley taking on RC Hatch.
Yep.
That'll be the other state championship game tonight.
And then, of course, tonight, the UAH Chargers will look to finish
Make
off
history of their own.
Yep, the regular season. Perfect. And when we were talking to Lenny Acuff yesterday, we were walking around the Allen Arena and its facilities. He told us, he goes, guys, that may be the best Gulf South Conference basketball team in the history of the league.
Wow. They can just get it done over there at West Alabama in the bandbox.
Oh my gosh. So Steve and I were joking. We went from this to this.
You had all that room.
We went from 5,000 seats to 50.
50.
I don't know. It's more than 50, but it's very small.
Yeah.
It's like playing inside Huntsville's auxiliary gym with an extra set of bleachers on both sides. That's basically what we're going to play in tonight.
Well,
or they're playing in. We'll be there.
We'll be there in Birmingham today, looking to hopefully to see Spring Garden make history, but looking forward to just seeing some great high school basketball. But good luck, safe travel, Scott. We hope the UAH Chargers can go unbeaten in conference play.
All right. See you tomorrow, folks.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me.